Alright, been a while since I posted my last update video. I've done a whole bunch of stuff since last time. There's actually enough to make 2 videos. I'm going to end up splitting this up, and I'm going to put some of the small stuff here in this number 7 video. There's one of the first things I did. It's a Velvac mirror. It's like a top door so you can see the blind spot down by your tire. Got it on clearance in Amazon for like 10 bucks, so I figured I'd pick it up and try it. And it is very helpful. Being able to look down and see where your tire is from if you don't have a driver or whatever. Did need to modify it a little bit and drill one of the holes because it didn't match up with what was already on my door. And it's been too cold down here in South Texas. It's an ugly, ugly day today. That's why I'm doing some editing and I forgot to come out and record this. But it's silver. I'm going to paint it Kark tan sand color to a match eventually. Besides drilling the hole, it's pretty easy. Just adjust it and tighten it down. So I put a troop alarm switch on there, and Savannah's gonna help me test it. You gonna help me test it, Savannah? Okay, Savannah, try pressing the switch and hold it. Okay, let it go. See, that's the troop alarm. So it lets the driver know when you're sitting in the back if there's a problem. What do you think? Want to do it again? It comes out of the air brake alarm. Alright, so I started troubleshooting after selling the trailer yesterday. I took the truck out for a good 40-minute drive, and when I got back I'd realized that my battery, it was showing that it was around like 22 volts. So first thing I did was hook the charger up here. It's saying it's brought up to charge now. Filled the truck up and all that, and I got the troubleshooting guide for this alternator and started looking through it. Very first thing, pulled this off, a broken wire. If I'm not mistaken, but I believe this is the exciter wire, which it ain't gonna charge shit if that exciter wire isn't hooked up. So I'm gonna fix that wire, hook it up, and see if it charges like it's supposed to. Alright, I started the truck up and it's showing that voltage up there. It was down almost all the way to that line between the yellow and the red, which is like 22 volts, 23 volts. And when I charged it on my 24 volt charger, it brought it right up to 24 and stopped. And that's producing way better than it was. So that must have been the problem. I'm so glad that was an easy fix, because those alternators can be a massive pain in the ass and a lot of money. And here we have a disassembled, this is a couple different sets of the comms rack that comes in the FMTV truck. What I'm going to do is, instead of just having it one high like the comm rack goes, I'm going to stack it 2 or 3. So I got shelves in there. I already did mock it up, and it will work with some hardware modifications. Got to start getting the storage box out first. Alright, I'm going to use the rifle holder to keep the cap open, and then there's 6 10mm bolts down at the bottom, and I believe this whole box. Ran into a little problem mounting the base plate. I guess this base plate that I have was intended to go on this side. There's one offset bolt that's on the back side of the cab over here. Only 4 bolts are going to line up. I don't know if I like that. If there was ever an accident or something and you had some weight on the shelves, they could shear off, and they're sitting right behind you. Need to make up my mind on what I'm going to do, whether drill holes in this or just put it on the passenger side. Got this out, and there's definitely soldier trash down here. You got your seeds. Saw this candy from the Middle East, or at least a water bottle wrap. Actually, no, it says bottle water. So I thought this truck spent its whole life in Texas, but I guess not. It did deploy, because this, for anyone who's been over there, this is the type of caps that they have on their soda cans. Wonder if it went to Kuwait or Iraq or something at some point. See if we find anything else cool in here. Alright, all 6 bolts do match up perfectly fine over here on the passenger side, so I'm going to move forward. So I got the first part of this done. The base plate that is on this part I built bolts up to that one up there. The idea is so you could remove it and you could do all your work with the radios and whatever. Normally there's a top piece on this, but I'm going to wait to put it in because what I'm modifying with mine is the way they designed it was to just have one on top. I'm going to make it multiple. I'm going to make it 3 high. So you can't get it all in there as one piece, so I need to put it in like this and then build it once I get it in there. Alright, got it in there, and light is getting too low and dinner's ready. So I'll have to continue this another time. Alright, I ended up finishing up in the dark yesterday, and I just finished in the light, tightening everything up all the way. It's nice and secure. You can see there's 4 shelves. So, I don't know, it's kind of big and bulky, but it's there. It's a good base to go off of. Once I figure out more to do with it, I'll add it on the updates. I had the battery cover rhino lined, so that way when I was removing it, and even when I touched it, I didn't get fiberglass all over me. And it worked out well too, because with the extra thickness, these actually hold it much more tighter. And I have a crane now. I got the crane from Northern Tool. I don't remember as I'm recording this what the model is, but I'll put a little subtitle and there'll be a link. What I did is I removed the troop seats over there, so it has room to pull the cargo in. Got some 4-inch square tube, 1/4 inch thick, and welded it to the base of the crane. So instead of bolting it in place, it can actually be moved from corner to corner if you wanted it to. Have a problem from time to time, fan clutch not engaging, and this solenoid right here I believe is the culprit. For example, right now I had the power on to the truck, I turned it off, and normally this opens and dumps the air out to lock the fan solenoid, and it didn't, or the fan clutch. So if you tap it, it does what it's supposed to. Here's the tools. A little thing of oil, 10mm ratchet, 10mm wrench would work fine. Smaller, thin blade, flathead screwdriver, and a 9/16. 10mm to take this cover off. I don't think that the solenoid is completely bad. I think it sat for too long, or it's got some crap in there. I marked where it came off of. I'm gonna have to drain the air out again, and then there's flathead screws, and I'm assuming you could pull the solenoid apart. I'm gonna try to pull it apart and just see if there's any crap in there. So here's what it looks like. I'm gonna put some oil and stuff in here, and hopefully it'll work a little better. So I went over to the truck. The little orifice that's offset right there, that faces towards the driver. This faces the passenger door, and you can see there's where the shorter screws went and the longer screws. All right, put it all back together after oiling it. So I think it's good. We fixed it. All right, I'm gonna replace this dipstick cover for the power steering reservoir. Neil VVT on YouTube is the one who found this. So I'm just gonna go over it really quickly. And you can see mine shot, and it's probably letting moisture in there. GM part 888-9er-2860. And this is for one of theirs, and you can see it's a little bit smaller. The dipstick part is different, and this is folded up. But you just pop this down, and what you can actually do is just remove the dipstick part from the rubber seal and pop it in there. Cool. Looks like I need to add some. I think it's just 15 weight 40 motor oil that goes in here, so I'm gonna add a little bit. It's low. Alright, I'm going to talk about how I changed out the fuel sender next. Here's the tools I ended up using. Big 19mm 3/4 ratchet and socket to loosen the strap. W Phillips. I had a regular Phillips, but ended up this W will be fine. Brass brush just to clean things. Snap if you have a zip tie holding a connection for the sender together. And some PB blaster. Something to pry with you may need to get the fuel tank to move. This is what I used to splice the wire that came off the old sender. Wire crimps, wire crimper, butt connectors, I'm sorry, wire strippers, and then I also ended up using some RTV around the sender gasket. Here's the parts I'm using. Fuel sender gasket. This is the military type cork and rubber together. And I'm using the KUSS stainless steel fuel sender, 15-inch long. You can get them on Amazon. The proper connector on there. You can get this connector by just cutting it off the sender you have. The male pin on this fuel sender side is going to be the positive. Well, it seems like I may need to end up moving the fuel tank to do this. I can't get the sender out. That's disappointing. Alright, ended up moving the truck closer to the garage because this has turned out to be much more of a pain than I thought. There's absolutely no way to get this out without moving the fuel tank. I'm going to undo the straps. I sprayed some blaster on there and then try to slide the tank out enough because I was able to wrestle it past right here to come up, but then it hits the bed. So I got to get it to come out enough at an angle so I can get it all the way out of the way. Alright, I got everything lined up with these 5 holes. There's always only one way that everything lines up perfectly. So both with the gasket and the fuel sender made a little mark. And then in theory, you don't need any sealant, but that's where the sealant comes in handy. I'm just going to dab some around the bottom and the top because once I put it on, I don't want it to all of a sudden start leaking. You can see at some point the one on here did leak. That's why there's so much fuel all over the top. So I'm gonna put RTV all around it, tighten it down, and these don't need to be super tight. You probably noticed that this is a lot thinner. The threaded holes for these, they just go straight into the tank, so the length of these screws is not gonna matter. Alright, so I got it all in, and I just realized I made a really dumb mistake. I didn't realize it, but this has room for 3 pins, right? This has 2 in it, though I thought I had a spare wire that was the same. It's not, so I'm going to have to cut that and solder it again. Alright, fixed my goof and got it all hooked up. Now I got to get the fuel tank back strapped down. So fuel sender works. It didn't end up solving the problem that I thought I had. The reason why I changed it is I was getting the readings. The gauge was kind of jerking back and forth erratically for no reason, even when it was sitting still. But it generally seemed to be pretty close to accurate. And then the gauge backlight would also flicker on and off, and I thought that might have had something to do with completing the circuit. It does read a little more steady when sitting still now. When you drive with that particular sender in there, the gauge does kind of move around all over the place. Compared to the original factory one, it's got kind of like a baffle on it, I guess that helps. Yeah, so I guess I got a spare fuel sender, and possibly the gauge, or if there's a bulb behind the gauge is what the problem is. It's still a good aftermarket option if you don't have a sender or your sender doesn't work. I painted this on there in the front and the back instead of having a unit tag. First Civ Div, first Civilian Division. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this update video. That's some of the smaller stuff that I've gotten done, and my next one is going to be some big stuff. I actually already have it done, but I haven't completed everything. I'm replacing the tires in the next one. I'm going to go over doing that and getting my CTIS system working properly. So stay tuned for that one.